It is a Thursday, and we have waves along the coast. This is Mavericks right now, live camera. They're towing in. See how fat the wave is? It's huge. Mavericks right now is about 20 to 25 foot. This is at high tide, big high tide. When the tide drops out in the next hour or so, a few hours, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And right now they're towing in because you could never paddle into a wave like that. Towing in meaning the jet ski's pulling you in right here. And then they're watching you. See how the jet ski stays with him? Because this guy went left, which is something you don't see all the time. And if you get caught inside, you need help getting out. So these jet skis act as a way to get in and a way to get out. But there's a high surf advisory along the coast. There is a high surf advisory, not high surf advisory, high tide, king tide advisory, which is even gnarlier. There were some problems in Santa Cruz yesterday. You see this gentleman towing in here, or female. And again, that's fun. They're enjoying themselves because you're towing in is a whole different animal. It's surfing for sure, and it's gnarly big. But you have it's like you have speed. Surfing is all about getting speed, and this guy's already whips in there. He's going 20 miles an hour, and so you can't paddle 20 miles an hour, right? And so I imagine it's fun. I kind of have done it, but not on giant days. But anyway, Mavericks is breaking. It's very dangerous out in the ocean right now. These live camera shots come to us courtesy of Surfline. This afternoon, you're going to see a lot of pictures, probably see a lot of pictures this evening on your feed of this wave. Once the tide gets lower, the face of this wave is going to go 30 feet. It's 25 foot, they're calling it today, but on the lower tide, it'll go maybe 30 feet. You see the reef right here. This is the whitewater where the shallow reef is, right? But as the water goes out, this whitewater area is going to extend out into the bay, and they'll be taking off way out here. So it's very fun to watch, but very dangerous as well. And there were a lot of people getting in trouble yesterday. Live camera, Steamers Lane, very dangerous spot right now. You're like, well, it doesn't look that dangerous. Well, it is because the tide's high. Getting in from this point is virtually impossible on a high tide, big swell day. You have to go all the way down inside Cowles, out by the Dream Inn, by the pier. Fortunately, you go right by the lifeguard station. But the beach break at Cowles is going to be 6-8 foot, which is super dangerous. So, and the rocks and the high tide. The high tide is everything. I personally know a guy. I used to work at CBS in San Francisco. These live pictures now. And you can see, again, notice how the water's kind of bouncing back off the cliff. You can see a high tide. It reverberates back out to sea. It creates gnarly currents, really bad currents. In this case, the water is just pushing down the point. You couldn't, well, actually, this probably, I wouldn't be surprised if that's Coast Guard saying, yeah, because you're not allowed to have jet skis out there. So that could be the Coast Guard guys or the lifeguards, maybe clearing the water. Maybe going to go talk to this guy. Let's see. I think, is that a guy or is that a spellman? I think maybe there's a guy right here, maybe? No. Okay, but they're definitely, they're patrolling. Because again, I'm going to say, today I'm going to do the weather, and so you're going to have to scrub through some stuff today to get to it. Because I was thinking this today. I got a call yesterday from the folks down at Off the Lip Radio in Santa Cruz, and they're like, "Yeah, I think we got a couple guys being rescued off the cliffs." And I'm not, I'm not old salty in the sea here, but most of us back in the day, we knew not to go out. Now this is Pleasure Point, which is a smaller, but still same thing, cliffs. This is Santa Cruz, and this is where the rescue area. This was the area the rescue occurred in yesterday. The people with soft tops and new to the sport don't get this. They're like, you just don't. You go, hey, you call your buddy, you're in Livermore, and you go, hey, we're going surfing today. It's going to be awesome. It's big, big, big. And especially boys tend to want to be macho and go out. And that's fine, but Richard Schmidt and Vince Collier and all those, the legends of Santa Cruz don't go out on a day like today. Not because they're scared, because they're smart, right? You guys don't know because you haven't been through a few seasons, if you will. This is about as dangerous as it gets right now. And the same thing in down towards sharks and privates. Again, you're like the waves don't look that big, but it's just reverb off the bluffs is dangerous. So, what I was getting at was I feel like maybe there should be some kind of a way to, like they do in LA, where they shut the beach down. And I know the big wave guys are like, dude, you can't do that to us. But I think on high tides, there's got, or at least have some certification, because there's so many people surf now. I've seen it, you've seen it. People going out in the water that mean well, are happy. Yesterday, those two kids that went out, I don't know if one of them, at one point we thought one might have passed. I don't know. But they had to be rescued, and it was a pretty grave situation. But they went out to have a fun day. And they didn't know. They're not bad guys. They just haven't been through enough cycles, enough seasons to see. So when I see a day like today and yesterday, I get nervous, because I do know that these folks out here, like those guys, each one of these surfers, as they tow in at Mavericks, have a lifeguard with them. They have a lifeguard with them. And so they're, the lifeguard being not the official lifeguard, but, Frankie and those guys, they're all out there on these jet skis. I know a bunch of these guys, and they're good dudes, and they practice, and they know they don't have to paddle in to the beach, because the jet ski will take them into the harbor. So there's all sorts of stop gaps and safety measures that have been taken. So as we look at live pictures of Mavericks breaking today, I think that's something that we should really consider doing in Northern California. Not because, in other words, legislating, or not legislating, I hate that word, but creating an environment where it's safe for all these new people. Because like this guy towing in right now, and the guy driving the jet ski, they know what they're doing. And they know in about 2 hours, that wave is going to go from 15 foot, look how big it is. It's going to go from a 15-foot wave to a 25 or 30-foot wave that is bone crushing, and not breaking like this. This is breaking fat because the tide is so high, because of the king tides. So, yeah, I don't know. Please be careful. Please don't make more work for the lifeguards. Please just don't be stupid. And again, these guys aren't. I'm not criticizing. These guys are. This is about the safest guys around right now, because they know exactly what they're doing. A lot of you folks paddling out or going out, I want to go to the lane to go surf today because it doesn't look that big. It's not about how big it looks or is. It's how much water is bouncing off those cliffs, how high the tide is, how much the tide swing is. It's a king tide, so it's a big swing of water. Plus 6 foot to 6 down to 0. So 6 foot of water moving in and out, big swell coming in. Oh, and you have king tides. So, and this is the lane right here. This is a live picture of Steamer's Lane. You see somebody out there paddling around. The lifeguards, I guess, they're letting them do it, but also I just think it's something to consider. So kind of old man Martin rant, but I think you understand. I really do think you understand. This is the rainfall from the last 72 hours, and you can see the bullseye really has been Northern California. Let me see if I can come in a little closer. Yeah, so you can see upwards of like 6 inches at Cape Mendocino, which is a lot of rain, a half foot of rain in this area. And you're like, okay, Bill, yeah, it was a good storm, right? This was over 3 days, moisture-laden system, mainly north of Cape Mendocino. But if you look at this setup, right, we always talk about orographic lifting. Look at that. This is a southwest wind, right? It hits that perpendicular. And that wind hits and that pushes the moisture up. A lot of times, like if the southwest wind hits this, what does it do? It blows by it, right? So your rain accumulations are going to be still high, but you're not going to get that massive mechanical orographic lift. This is a great example of orographics right here. And the only reason I'm pointing it out is because it's half foot of rain, but also I got 2 sources on this. Like if it was just one, I go, well, maybe it's an anomalous deal, but I would suggest not. So that's where all the rain fell out. Northern California, up around Lake Shasta got up around 5 inches of rain, 7 inches of rain. Wow, up at Lake Shasta, yeah, up by Adina. Or not Adina. Yeah, it's coming where the McLeod comes in by Valley Boca. So that's the rain. The rain is dying down for now for most of the area south. The scattered showers continue up in Washington and Oregon for the next 24 hours. We have dense fog advisories around here. All right. And you see the fog along the coast. There's Mavericks. They were in the fog there. We saw that. We also see fog in Southern California and fog down in the Central Valley, which is very typical. There was snow in the mountains, for sure. Was there a lot of snow? No, but it snowed and a little lower than we thought. This is Wairika. This is Fort Jones. Fort Jones is in Siskiyou County, and it was founded by Colonel Roger Jones. And it was a gold rush area. It was a gold rush fort that was put in. They were worried about hostile Indians. Of course, that's typically how these things go. And they wanted to make it safe for the miners. So Fort Jones was a wooden fort. It was built in 1850s. They kind of abandoned it in 1858. Fort Jones today is going to go 60 degrees. And I love this shot. Let's take a peek on it. I have so much to talk about today. The surf thing threw me off. I didn't think I was going to get into a rant, but I do worry a lot. Not because I like you guys. I like all the new surfers. I really do. I used to hate you guys. Nice shot. I didn't hate, but I was like, because it's like, right, it's like a lot of people showing up at your favorite restaurant right as you're trying to get a seat. It's not the same thing. It's a horrible analogy, but you know what I mean. So a lot of you guys are showing up at the restaurant, man. But and you're cool, but you got to know when to go and when not to go. And that thing yesterday, and there'll be stuff today too. Unfortunately. This is Alturas. Let's loop that because I'm obsessed with fast forward cameras. Everybody knows that. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. This is Alturas. A little bit of rain shower up there. Alturas, 58 degrees today. It's the county seat, Alturas is. You know what it means? It means heights or high. It's the Spanish word, heights, Alturas, Alturas. And it was settled in the 1870s. I love that part of the state. Palisades, Tahoe. Hello. Let's check it out. Yeah, buddy. A little bit of snow. Is that snow? Almost looks dry, doesn't it? I can't tell. It almost looks, there's a little, that's a little bit of frosty snow. Looks like it must have rained up there a little bit. So there's like Tahoe over here, top of the mountain, so on and so forth. And then here is the rain. This is the rain footprint for the next 3 days. Okay. And there's that, we call it a moisture-laden storm, subtropical connection, Pineapple Express. I kind of always liked Pineapple Express, but there was that movie, the Stoner movie, which is hilarious, by the way. But that sort of kills the whole Pineapple Express thing. I don't know, because the movie is all about weed and drugs, which is fine. But anyway, you see the rain rates and locations, mostly up here. That's the next 3 days. And these numbers correlate to a couple inches. It's not massive flooding. There are some flood watches up in that area, but there's nothing really, I would call it beneficial rain at this point. Let's see what their warning is up in there. Oh, they're all talking about the surf, high surf advisory, Cape Blanco, 25 foot. And we'll visit Mavericks Beach. We'll go back before I run out of time and look at those, see how the toe ends are doing. This is Eureka. What do they got there? They got a flood warning up in Eureka, so some of those rivers are starting to go. And again, you're in that zone that we just showed you. We're in this zone, right? Eureka's right in there. So that makes sense. This is the king tides, the grains, and then the blues is a beach hazard statement, which is much needed, which is what I was just talking about. Yeah, stay clear of the beaches, man. I love the ocean, but I know better. Even Pacifica Pier right now, we used to, when we were little, we'd go out there on big days, high tides, could get wet. It's like, dude, just, you know what? Ocean funny. It does a thing where it looks cool. Like here's a dense fog advisory. It looks like it's all good. I've seen it. All day it's all good, and then all of a sudden it just goes all bad. And it's really, you call rogue rig, sneaker wave, call it what you will, but I've seen it, and it's terrifying. And when you see it, you know it can happen. This is the high surf beach statement down in San Clemente. Their swells come up as well. Today's the biggest day. Let's check back in on Mavericks, shall we? This is, they got a bunch of them out there now. The fog just cleared. Yeah, I love watching the bumps come in, and I don't mind watching these guys and women. And there are women, Bianca and those guys are all out there, I'm sure. But I love watching these guys. These guys are professionals, man. I mean, they're not professional surfers necessarily. They're just professionals. These guys work with the Coast Guard out of Half Moon Bay. They work with the lifeguards. They have training classes. So when you watch this, and the pictures we're going to see this afternoon are going to be stunning. As a matter of fact, I'll probably go live this afternoon, and we'll take a look at some of the Maverick stuff because I think it's going to be stunning today. I really do. The ocean's a little bumpy with the higher tide. The lower tide will be less so. So these are the forecast highs for today. And then, are these tomorrow? Hold on. No, that's right. These are today. Pretty warm, though. Not bad. Forecast high in Redding, 62. Forecast high in Sacramento, 67. Bakersfield, 69. Santa Barbara, 68. Los Angeles, 72 degrees. That's today. This is tomorrow. Warmer. Nice. Did you know that when the waves break at Mavericks, like we were looking at, especially on low tide, they actually break onto the North American plate, the way the faults are set up. So it's coming off the Pacific plate, but it breaks and shakes the North American plate. And I've seen this. It shakes the plate, the North American plate, enough that it registers at the UC Berkeley seismograph. Right? I mean, I know you can register, a sonic boom might register too, but isn't that fascinating? Like, yeah, that's big surf. These are the forecast highs for tomorrow. So LA, you're back into the 80s, low 80s. No rain for you yet. Now, I do have some, not surprises, but some stuff we talked about yesterday. I think we're going to see some real aggressive wet weather in Southern California coming up next week. Here is the long-range model. Ridging over us. That's bumpy up over the top. See it? This guy, remember we talked about this. This amplifies, this trough is amplifying, and it amplifies this ridge. And one of the things that happens when you do this, it's a direct reaction. It happens every time. This trough will dig, this ridge will amplify, right? And so what happens is this is going to dig enough, and this is going to amplify enough that it weakens them, and then this area will undercut. It'll swing through the ridge. Does that make sense? So you'll actually see it. I think we'll see it in real time. I haven't looked at this model yet, but I think we will. Let's see. We're watching. So this is on Sunday. So the weekend looks good. Today looks good. Next few days look good. Surf dangerous. See how it's cutting off right here? So right now it's cutting off. Now it's coming under. Now it's waiting around out in the Pacific for, see how it just merged in. This is on Tuesday, November 11th. And that's when stuff starts to go. So around the 12th of November, and then that area, this cutoff low gets, with subtropical moisture all over it, gets sucked into an extratropical weather system, which is cold, and that is extremely potent for rain, and that's what happens here. Right front quadrant, Friday morning, November 14th. It's a ways off. It's a week, but we can wait for it. Look at that. That's some stuff, man. So that's going to be good. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see how this goes. This is Oregon. This is the scattered showers. Let's see. Light scattered showers continue north of Cape Mendocino tomorrow afternoon, or this afternoon, and then kind of breaks away. The dash lines or thicknesses, they're starting to pump up, and that means a warmer pattern. And we're dry for a while until that little cutoff gets sucked into, watch the direction it comes from, right around here. See, it's coming due west and even south. Lower latitude storm, very good for Southern California's rainfall. Here is Friday morning, the 14th, and then see it comes undercuts. That's the low coming in. So that's some stuff. Again, that's around, so we're looking, let's call this, just in your calendar, just jot down November 14th through the 16th. Looks wet, especially for Central and Southern California. Let's see how the rain footprint looks. This is northern Oregon and Washington. This is into tomorrow morning, okay? So that's why in Northern California, that's the fire hose. That's the subtropical moisture doing what it does. And then it kind of dies down. And then, see, so this is the footprint. This is all the way into Monday. You're dry. This is accumulation, so it's not still raining up there. Now it's back to raining again, and then here comes that next weather system. And look at how aggressive it is for Southern California. I mean, that's fantasy land stuff, but it was fun to do. Let's take a closer look. This is today into tomorrow morning. And then waiting, and then bam, right? The 14th, 13th, 14th, Thursday, Friday. That weekend of the 14th looks like gaming. Oh, yeah. Will that happen? Yeah. But that's what we got to look forward to. From Cape Mendocino south, Cape Mendocino north, you got more scattered showers, and you can see why. All the energy is up in that area. Watches and warnings, above average for the next 6 to 10 days. 6 to 10 day precip. The reason it's showing that is because what we just looked at. This is that area around the 14th, 15th is going to really do a number, and that should take LA out of the red zone in terms of field moistures. Earthquakes, pretty quiet. These are all the fives in the last 7 days. The squares are 5.0. Those are big. It seems like most of our quakes, there's a real. I'm not a geologist. I know a little bit, but there seems to be like a little bit of there's something right around 5. Like they don't do, to get to a 6 is difficult apparently, because most of the big earthquakes most of the quakes we get in abundance are the 5s. Fortunately, these are all the microquakes, and this is just showing us it is very busy time. And look at all the microquakes in California. Yeah. Right? A lot of them. So it's the Earth's moving, man. The surf forecast calls for today. Here we are. Surf forecast from Surfline says dying down. See how the turns yellow? Still big, but not as big. That's the swell we're experiencing right now. This guy, that's the real enchilada. That's the real deal. This is a place called Privates. This is where I think the kids got in trouble yesterday down by the hook. And it's not that big, but again, you see that reverb, live camera from Santa Cruz. You see the reverb coming off the cliffs. And that, my friend, is dangerous. Like, I wouldn't want to be out there at all. And you will. If we look hard enough, we'll find somebody. Because I don't think they can stop you from going out. And that's the problem. There needs to be, there's a wave up there. There needs to be some mechanism for that. And oh, by the way, Malibu. Yes, that's why they have a surf culture down there, because the beach is warm, right? How come Northern California surf culture not as awesome and flamboyant and Hollywood as this? Because, right? And also the Malibu, the beach culture down there was kind of the Malibu Ranch. I can't remember, Ringe, I think was her name. Gosh, I can't remember her name. Ida? She owned the ranch up there. Her husband died. They kept the area private for years, and she ended up building little shacks on, those old shacks you used to see on Highway 1, just south of this sign. They were bungalows, like in old surf movies. In Gidget and Moondog, you go to the beach bungalow. That's what they look like. She put them up, and people moved in, but the people that moved in were not ordinary people. They were Hollywood stars. It was Charlie Chaplin and Betty Grable, and all these people wanted, because they worked in the Universal Studios, and they wanted to be in Malibu. And that's how Malibu sort of got its start. There's a great book called The King and Queen of Malibu, which I've recommended before, but it's really fascinating. If you live in Southern California, in Santa Monica or Venice Beach area, you should definitely check it out. This is Highway 80, Interstate 80, and they got a little snow sticking. Billy Hudson said they got a little snow up at Palisades today. I didn't see a lot. This is at the pass, but I don't think they chained up. They might have chained up last night. I didn't see anything on it, but none in the trees, indicating some warmth, but traffic's moving fair. As we get into the winter, though, we'll check these cameras out a lot. The Caltrans cameras are pretty awesome. This is our friends up at McCoy Station and Mammoth Mountain. They got a little snow. Tell you what, when we get down there to that next storm next week, a week from now, this thing is going to go off. Over 14,000 foot elevation, that subtropical moisture merging with that extratropical storm. They're going to that footprint, 2 to 3 feet of snow. 2 to 3 feet of snow. It's way out. I'm just making noise, but if it were to transpire like that, this is Heavenly Valley, and I want it to work, so I'm going to refresh. I'm saving a little time so we can go back and watch them surf. Let me see if I can do this. It says it's 37 degrees. That's cool. Not a lot of wind. And skiers get frothy right about now, huh? Okay, and then I'm going to go. I think I can go. Oh, now I'm in trouble. Dang. I did that thing where I asked too much of the computer. I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit here and talk. So what did we talk about? Most of the showers are done, except north of Cape Mendocino tonight and tomorrow a little bit more. We go dry. Well, Pacific Northwest, you go dry too, towards the weekend. And then as we go into next week, we line ourselves up with some significant potential for some significant weather. And that's that big rain, big snow event. Mavericks is breaking right now. It's 20 to 25 foot. If I can get this to play, I'll go right back there live. Thanks for bearing with me. Yeah. Well, I do that sometimes. I got to remember it's probably this camera. So we talked about a little bit. We talked about Fort Jones. We talked about the origins of Alturas. The name means high or higher, height. Talked about the surf warning along the coast. What else did we talk about? Oh, Fort Jones is in the Marble Mountains, which I've never been to the Marble Mountains. Anyway, so I'm just stalling because I want to get that picture. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go, maybe if I try this. I'm going to go to, I'll probably do something live when Mavericks tide gets lower, because I think that would be pretty awesome to have like to have a live presence then. Yeah, it's just not taken, is it? Dang. Okay, well, you guys are awesome. Thanks for bearing with me. I wanted to go back. Well, I can do this. I think I can do this. Let's try this. Let's see how this, okay. Oh yeah, Phil, that's nice. Yeah, I'm just taking you along on Mr. Toad's wild ride. Let's do it. Let's go surf line. Mavericks, you're seeing everything, man. I go Mavericks. If you're still here, leave me a note. But you're going to see Mavericks live. That's cool. Surfline does such a nice job with all this stuff. Okay, there we are. Okay. All right. Well, hell yeah. There's, and again, I got about 3 minutes to watch this with you. But again, you can see the reef, that whitewater. That's how. But remember, there's 6 feet of water over it. So as the tide goes out, 6 inches and a foot, 6 to 8 inches an hour, it drops. It's a lot of water coming out, right? So it gets shallower and shallower, and there's a connection between the depth of the water and the size of the wave and when it will break. And there's an actual formula for that, which I at one point knew really well. Again, be careful along the bluffs and the cliffs. Somebody texted me the other day and goes, "Hey, I want to go watch Mavericks break." I'm like, Mavericks is funny, man, because you got to get up on those bluffs, which are kind of dangerous, way up there by the tower, by the radar tower. And then at that, you need binoculars. I mean, it's out there. Mavericks is out there. I'll tell you a story while we're waiting for a set wave. Because I was out there, I can't remember what year. I got some Maverick stories because I used to actually forecast for the event. And I had one experience. You remind me and I'll tell you about it. See how it's getting a little shallower? That actually threw out, right? That will mess you up too. You're like, that's not a big wave. It didn't look that big on the face, but it's a lot of water moving. Here goes a person. So you need the jet ski to get the speed up so you can catch the wave. And then it's starting to throw here. Yeah, so he pulls out left. But I was in the boat. I can't remember which boat I was in, which we were offshore filming the contest. I was doing live TV out there, I think. And we were sitting in the channel. And all of a sudden, man, this boat starts to spin around. It's a big boat. And there are a bunch of surfers on it. I don't know if they were contestants, but they were a bunch of surfers, me, some media. And I know enough about surfing that I see this wave coming from out here. And what happens sometimes, like Sunset Beach will do this too, you get these sets that come in, and they kind of come in into the channel. And it's terrifying. And so this wave came in. It was, I'd say, solid 50 foot. Solid 50 foot. Now, it was feathering, meaning it looked like it was going to break, but the boat driver knew. He goes, it's not going to break, because he knew how deep we were. They have depth finders. But it tried to break, and I had 1 foot, me and a couple other guys had 1 foot on the rail ready to jump, because I'm like, I don't want to go down in a 40-foot boat and I'd rather be clear of the boat and just take it on the head. But that's a true story. It was scary. I've never seen a wave that big in my life. It was only a 20-foot day out there, maybe. Okay, we're getting winding down on time. I'm only showing this because it's compelling. I think, so towing. Here goes this guy. So it's interesting how he picks him out, isn't it? He's like, it's hard to, that was, they say, and you guys could tell me, Jeff knows this stuff, Jeff Clark, but I wonder, Jeff, if the boat driver, he's got to know, or the jet ski driver has to know more or as much as the surfer, if not more,